Wanna talk? So let's talk. Yeah. Talk. You wanna talk? You gotta talk, you need to talk. News talk.
I talk, you talk to Solomon. I talk, you talk to Solomon. Yeah, let's talk to Solomon. Talk to Solomon.
You gotta talk, you wanna talk.
Welcome back, my friends, to Talk to Solomon. We have run into an issue that is my fault. I double booked. So I'm going to ask my friend Murray Silver to allow me to reschedule you and to come back in a couple of weeks, and we'll have a full hour to talk about this still more. Murray, will you accommodate me, please, and let me schedule you to come back?
Stan, I thank you for the invitation. We'd be highly honored. We'd be pleased to come back anytime at your convenience. And I thank you again for your kind invitation for this interview. It was very informative. It was beautiful. I enjoyed it very, very much. And I'm looking forward to the opportunity of getting the tape.
We will have you back, and we will let you know about all that. You and I will be talking tomorrow. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Heidi Shafer is going to stay with us, and we're going to invite onto the show now Bob Chapman, the economist who I misquoted. I thought he was going to be here at 6:30 Eastern Time, and inadvertently I gave him 6:30 Central Time. Bob Chapman, how are you, sir?
I'm pretty good. And in the future, I can't do that time slot because I get a standing one in front of it.
No problem. I'll talk to you. I'll send you emails tomorrow, and we'll reschedule. But for tonight, we have you, so let's go ahead and move forward. I don't think I have to even think about anything else other than to ask you, will Greece bring Europe, and will Europe bring the world, and will the world bring the United States into a depression?
Well, the people in Washington and in Berlin seem to think that on Thursday that the Bundestag will pass the legislation necessary for Germany to participate in the funding of Greece and other groups, as well as including in that legislation a new committee that would do the financing for those countries and have the ability to sell bonds, but also would be able to supersede the Bundesbank and actually take Germany's sovereignty away from them. So I don't know how that's going to work out. The German people are furious. They don't want any changes. They don't want to lend any more money. And, of course, the politicians are controlled by the bankers, and they want to do what they want to do. So Thursday will be an important day. If they pass it, then they'll try to put all these things in place. And Germans aren't going to be happy about it, but I don't think there's much they can do about it, except in the next election, perhaps change things. And that's really what it hinges on at the moment.
Now, I have heard exactly what you said, that the German people are incensed, they work hard, they're judicious, they're productive, they're successful, and they see the Greek people as being non-judicious, non-productive, non-successful, and you know, like the people in Brussels want to sit on their butts and work 7-hour days or 6-hour days and 6-week or 2-month or 3-month vacations, and the German people are saying, we are not going to be without, so they can have what they have because we work for ours and they don't work for theirs, kind of a thought. Is that true?
That is absolutely correct. And they are furious about it, but, you know, it's been going on for a long time. And the Germans never wanted to be in the European Union. They didn't want the euro. They didn't want to be in the European Union and the Eurozone. And it's coming to a head. And, you know, I think Mrs. Merkel has got them kind of bamboozled. And I don't know where it's all going to end up. Well, we'll know on Thursday. And if they approve it, they'll kick the can down the road maybe 2 years. And Greece will limp along. Greece can't even pay the interest on the debt. if they cut the debt in half, they still couldn't pay it. Incidentally, they offered not to go bankrupt 2 years ago, a year and a half or so, to the Germans and said, look, let's do 50 cents on the dollar, and the Germans said no. Now they're back at that impasse again. And so I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think anybody does, including the players.
Well, let me ask this question, and then Heidi, I'll come to you for a question. I know you weren't really prepared for this part, but here's my question. A government, no matter what government, even the Chinese government, can only do what they do if the people are willing to let them do it. Now, they may not be happy about it, but when people get to the point that they won't let them do it, where they say we're not going to pay, or worse yet, we're going to revolt, we're going to attack, and the Germans are not exactly a passive people based on their history. I cannot see the Germans being brought down in quality of life, standard of living, financial stability, so that they can support people who they consider to be inferior, not, you know, Third Reich type of silliness, but just they consider to be inferior economically and in ethics and in work ethic. And I see not the conservatives being thrown out and not the socialists put in their place, but I see an ultra-right party, which is already strong in Germany, going nuts. Am I close?
Yeah, I think it'll get a lot of support. And what you say is true, and this goes back to the beginnings of the European Union. First it was the coal and steel group, and then came the European Common Market, and then the EU. And it is on a natural association. Anthropologically, it's a disaster. But they still want to do it anyway because they want to bring everybody to the knees so that they'll accept world government, and they don't care what the breakage is in between. And so sooner or later it's going to come unglued. They're trying to buy time by passing this deal, and I don't think it's going to last very long, because the Greek people are saying, look, we didn't do this. You know, maybe our culture is totally different, and our whole way of life. And maybe we shouldn't be in there, but we're in there, in the Eurozone. And our politicians, in league with the bankers, did a number on us. And we shouldn't be held responsible. And the Irish and the Portuguese, the Spanish, the Italians, and the people who live in Belgium, they didn't do anything either. The bankers are the whole cause of this thing.
Well, the question becomes, when will people not come to their senses, because I think they already have, when will people get to the breaking point? Now let's invite Heidi Shafer, is an elected county commissioner from the Memphis, Tennessee area, and she's with us today along with Chief Steve. Heidi, do you have a question for economist Bob Chapman?
Well, yes, I did. And actually, I wanted to just say something first, that I think that what we're seeing in Germany is not asimilar to what the Tea Party movement is doing in America. I was talking with a foreign exchange student from Jonesboro, Arkansas, a few months ago, and he's from Dusseldorf, and he was explaining to me what a beautiful economy Dusseldorf has right now, because they have shed a lot of the socialist government restrictions, and Dusseldorf has just exploded. It's a very, very wealthy city. Everybody's excited about work, you know, kind of what you assume Germans would do, but had been killed in such a socialist government, and they were just excited about the opportunity to move forward and to make money and to be prosperous and productive. And I can see very much an attitude of resistance coming from Dusseldorf, the same way that our Tea Party here in the States is resisting similar measures here. And I think that, I can't remember who said it, but somebody called the state of the world pre-revolutionary right now. And I think that's fairly accurate. I don't think the people around the world are going to stand for it. There is a group of people kind of throughout the nations who want to be taken care of, and they don't want to bear the brunt of their actions, and it's kind of like, okay, all y'all come on and bail us out. And then there's another group of people who say, no, we're not going to bail you out. We don't want to. We can't afford to. You're going to have to be creative and think of how to bail yourselves out. And the question is going to be who's going to win that very big conflict. I think this is going to be a turning point in world history, and I don't think I'm overstating it. I think we're in for a major realignment. And I think that Dusseldorf, Germany is just one of the places. England is not real thrilled with a lot of things that are going on over there. I think you're going to see a big alignment, very similar to what the Tea Party is doing here. And I wondered what The Economist might have to say about that.
By the way, that was Ron Paul who said
I agree.
Ron Paul was the one who said
I agree. Incidentally, I used to live in Dusseldorf and Wiesbaden as well, and then over in Frankfurt, so I know the area very well.
Freut mich sehr, Sie kennenzulernen.
What?
She was saying in German.
Es freut mich sehr, Sie kennenzulernen. Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
That's what you learned?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. Du hast Deutsch gesprochen, huh?
All right, you guys, this is a program that's aimed primarily at English-speaking folks, but I do want...
Oh, you're a killjoy, Stan.
Okay,
anyway.
all right. Listen, I want to take a minute forward, because we have a shortened time, to make sure you tell people how to get a copy of the International Forecaster.
Okay. Shall I do it right now?
Yes, please.
The International Forecaster is about business, finance, economic, social, and political issues all over the world, published on Wednesdays and Saturdays, with about 40 pages each time. We also have a hard copy that goes out twice a month for those who are not on the Internet. And you can get a free introductory copy by going to theinternationalforecaster.com, theinternational.com, or you can go to www.intforecaster.com. That's intforecaster.com. For all of you who would like to ask a question, we answer them all. So email us, and I'm going to give you that address. You can get a free copy at this address, and also you can get a copy of our latest recommendations on gold and silver shares. And that address is Bob, B-O-B, at intforecaster.com, Bob at intforecaster.com. And those of you who would like to call collect, that number is 877-479-8178. That's 877-479-8178. They have a copy there for you of either type, the hard copy or the digital copy. And also, if you'd like to become a subscriber, you can call that number. They have free subscriptions. They're offering a deal. The deal is very, very good. It's terrific, as a matter of fact. So that's the way to subscribe.
Thank you so much. Now, there was an international labor organization that put out a paper that said, quote, the world's major economies are headed for a massive job shortfall by the end of next year if governments do not change their tact on policy. And they said that the presumptions that they have now, which are terrible, could be halved and could become twice as terrible. And we could see 20 to 40 million jobs lost. And of course, most people don't understand.
They're probably right. They're probably right, Stan. And the way to solve that is, I think, very simple. If they want to solve it, as we've seen, they've made no efforts in the last 3 years to create jobs. They saved the banking system, the financial sector. They saved the government for both temporarily, but they've done nothing for jobs, homeowners, anything to speak of. And so what I think the easy way to get the economy back going where it should be going is twofold. Number one, they have to instruct the banks to take the $2 trillion that they've got sitting at the Federal Reserve and start lending it to small and medium-sized companies. These companies create 70% of the jobs in the country, especially the little companies. That would get the ball rolling. and I think it would work very well. It'll take a while to evolve, 6 months to a year, but it beats what they're doing, which is like zero. Second of all, if we can get to Congress, who unfortunately doesn't hear us anymore, and get them to pass legislation reenacting tariffs on goods and services, we can stop this bloodletting, this ripping apart of our economy that's been going on for the last dozen years, big way. We've lost 11.7 million jobs, and 450,000 companies have moved out of this country. Number one, they can make more money by using slave labor, and number two, they keep their profits offshore in the Cayman Islands and don't pay any taxes. Now, what kind of a thing is that? So that's got to be stopped.
I agree with you. Now, Chief, I know the macroeconomics is not your particular strength, but microeconomics is something you work with in creating your budget. In order for people to make plans, they are one of three things. They either think everything is going to heck in a handbasket, they think that everything is coming up roses, or they think it's someplace in the middle. Right now, I think the majority of people think that everything's going to hell in a handbasket. Am I right or wrong?
Well, you're right, and that's what the polls suggest. But again, the average consumer, the average Joe like me, you look at the price of gasoline, and the price of gasoline has destroyed every other commodity that we have to buy. And so that's really the economic indicator that most of us use, other than the stock market, to tell where we are. And so with our government now trying to inflate the price of gasoline and make us go to we talked about solar power earlier, those types of alternative fuels and other mechanisms, I think that's a big part of it as well.
Heidi?
Yeah, you know, it's here in Memphis, at least, we're very concerned about the economy. We have a great deal of poverty to begin with. And then, do you remember a little bit ago when they said that we had to have illegal aliens coming into the country because there were jobs that Americans wouldn't do? Let me just tell you, in Memphis, I don't know of anybody who's unemployed who wouldn't do one of those jobs that supposedly we were too good to do. It is, you know, we've got to do something to turn the economy around. Here in Tennessee and here in Shelby County, what we're trying to do is create, find ways to make the tax burden and the government regulations less onerous, try to find a way to drive down the, you know, government overhead and red tape to try to make this a haven within the United States the way that Texas has done, so that at least we can start getting our economy going here. And I'll let you know how it goes, but we're doing our very best because, again, all politics are local.
Bob Chapman, two of the Fed governors say that the Fed should do more easing. Your thoughts?
Well, they don't have any choice because you can't have jobs without easing. They've used this Operation Twist, which, you know, over the next 6 months or more is going to allow people to be able to buy homes because they can qualify. The 30-year fixed rate mortgage right now is 409. It was 409 the week before last as well. What it will be this week? Probably about the same. What would they like to do? They'd like to take it down to 3% if they can. Whether they can do that, I don't know. Now, that is based upon the 10-year note. The 10-year note, I think it closed around 192 today, 1.92% yield on that bond, on that note. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But what is wrong, you need a direct pipeline into the economy, and that was what I just mentioned. And of course, you know, like the young lady said, the people in Memphis would be happy to take those crummy jobs that they supposedly didn't want before. Well, the only way to solve that is to get the illegal aliens out of the country and send them back from where they came. And that's not going to happen from either party in Washington because they both have avoided the situation for the last 10 or 15 years. And why? Because corporations, but particularly general business, want slave labor. And that's what it amounts to. And, you know, America's been turned upside down between all the jobs we lost through free trade, globalization, offshoring, and outsourcing. And then the jobs that are lost, the people who don't have to work for or won't work for 8 or 9 or 10 bucks an hour, but they'll work for 5 or 6, that's destroyed the whole undercarriage of the job market in America. I mean, there's a lot of people who always would have normally taken those jobs because they haven't been trained to do anything else. And most of them don't want to do anything else. They're happy being a lowly paid worker, doing jobs that most other people wouldn't want. And so if we could do that, we could really get going fast.
All right, we have just a couple minutes left here, and I want to make sure that we give as much time as we can to you, Bob. And a Harris poll says that more than 2/3 of Americans not don't believe that we're in a recovery. They don't think there's ever been a recovery. They think that we're still in the same recession that started at the end of the Bush's last term, and they think that they've just been fed a lot of false information. I personally agree with them. What is the fact? Did we come out of a recession? Are we going into another recession? What's the story?
We never came out. And all the earmarks are there, and these people get on Bloomberg, CNBC, CNN, and lie about everything. I mean, that's why they don't have me on television anymore, because I don't care. I tell people the truth, and there's thunder and lightning, and they don't want to be exposed for the charlatans that they are. And I'm sure they won't invite me either. But the point is that we never had any kind of a recovery. What they did with QE1 and Stimulus 1 is they got GDP up about 5.5%. From normally it would have been like 2 to 2.5. QE2, marginally, it's about 1 to 1.5%, which means without it, we probably would have had a -2 in GDP. Now, where are we headed now? We don't have any stimulus. We don't have the Fed really doing the right thing, and that's going to stimulate things. And so what are we looking at? -5? Stupid.
Well, I couldn't have said it in a more sophisticated way myself. I believe, Bob Chapman, and we'll get your comment, then we're going to wrap up this half hour, but I believe that without consumer confidence, nothing has any effect. So it's almost a chicken and egg situation. With Obamacare, no one is going to borrow money and hire people because you can't afford to. With the regulators going mad, you can't expand your business because you have no idea if they won't declare you toxic waste or something. So I think it's got to start at government taking its foot off the brake, putting its foot on the accelerator, getting people confident, which means long-term commitments, and then doing some of those other things. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree. The only thing is you have to create jobs by creating positive opportunities. You cannot have a maldistribution of liquidity or wealth. You know, there's so many companies in America, and I know we've lost a lot of them already, that should not be in business. Maybe it's not their own fault because of free trade and globalization, but the reality at the moment is most of them are insolvent, especially our banks. And we can't continue to live that way. The system really should be purged, and these people are not going to do it. And so it's going to end up in hyperinflation and chaos.
Last point, Bob Chapman, if someone said, all right, there's money on the line, and there is, your best guess, will this administration continue to drive the economy into the toilet until they're replaced with another one, or will they actually do the things necessary to let our economy come back?
There is absolutely no chance that they will do that. No chance whatsoever. And unfortunately, the Republicans aren't much better because they're all paid off by the same group of people. So we're going to get nowhere unless we can get the kind of changes I talked about, and the Fed can make that happen very easily. It's one way to help solve the problem, and the other way is tariffs. And of course, they don't want that. They're getting filthy rich. They don't care about the American worker. If they did, they would have already had programs over the last three years to get people to work. There is none. I mean, there's some highway projects and, you know, what is it, $50 to $100 billion? It's chump change.
Point well made,
I mean, they
sir.
didn't hesitate to lie to us, the Federal Reserve, until the GAO audited their books under the Dodd-Frank bill. And they found that they secretly lent money to large corporations, the financial sector in America and in Europe, and never told anybody. I mean, how about giving Americans a break?
I vote for you. If you run, I'll be your campaign manager. Thanks so much, Bob Chapman. And you and I will be corresponding tomorrow, and we'll get our times straight. Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye-bye, and thank you.
All right. We'll be back in just a moment with Dr. Alan Keyes, along with Heidi Shafer from Memphis, Tennessee, and Police Chief Steve Davis from the great city of Indianapolis. We'll be right back. I am holding in my hand a product. It's called TR10 Supercolloidal Silver. It's a natural antibiotic that works. You know, the reason we use silver to make cutlery, silverware, is because nothing grows on silver. It's the reason they put it in your teeth. It's the reason they use silver instruments to operate on the brain. TR10 is very inexpensive. Just go to cpnlive.com, click on the icon for the TR10, and order a quart. It's so inexpensive, it's really silly. But it's invaluable when you have a sore throat, when you have a cold, when you have something you're concerned about in yourself, your child, whether you have to spray it in your eyes or swallow it or put it on your skin, makes no difference. It's totally safe. It has less silver than is the safe level in drinking water, yet it's done in such a way that it does the job. A natural antibiotic, yours, TR10 Supercolloidal Silver, from cpnlive.com. Just click on the icon.